I'm good.
Think of a room with 100 random people in it. Chances are at least one of the people in that room has autism. Autism is a very complex disability that affects every person differently, but there is a lot being done to help improve the lives of those who have it. Every person is different. Just because someone has a disorder doesn't make them any less of an awesome person. Think about your best friends. I bet you think they're pretty weird, but you don't judge them or discriminate them. So you shouldn't do the same for anybody with a disability. I have read through many sources, I've even written a psychology research paper on the subject, and I also live with my brother who has autism, so I believe I'm pretty credible. Throughout my speech, I will inform you about causes or ideas of causes of autism, what exactly the disorder is, and how people are affected, the different screening processes, and ways to help them deal with autism. So to begin, let's talk about what exactly is the cause of autism. Many research and studies have been done, but there's no single cause for the disorder. But researchers have agreed upon that the causes can be broken down into two different categories. They are genetic factors and environmental factors. First, let's get some ideas from the past. Let's start with some ideas from the past.
Okay.
Some people believe that autism stemmed from neglectful parents. However, in 1977, doctors Folstein and Rutter conducted an experiment that debunked it and deemed it not true. Another idea from the past is that drugs during pregnancy were a cause. One of the main things that you may hear today still is even that vaccinations cause autism. However, this is far from the truth. Another cause would be environmental factors. The two main ideas of this would be air pollution and different pesticides that are used all throughout the world. It is deemed very likely by researchers that the answer to what causes autism will not be pinpointed to either specifically environmental factors or genetic factors, but it will be a combination of the both. Now that we know exactly what may cause it or what is thought to cause it, we can discuss what exactly autism is. So, autism spectrum disorder describes a wide range of social deficits, communication deficits, and repetitive sensory motor behaviors. So, to start, I'll define what each is. Some examples of communication deficits would be deficits in language, the inability to use gestures, and the inability to sustain conversations. An example of a repetitive deficit would be repetitive language, hobbies, and daily tasks. People with autism tend to have one little click or niche that they love and stick to. For example, my brother loves sports, and pretty much some examples of repetitive behavior or social behaviors would be impulsivity, poor visual perception, disorganization, invasion of personal space. So there are ways to determine if someone has autism. When people are kids and babies, they tend to have checkups at the doctors at ages 18 months and 2 years old. Here the doctors will screen for autism and other such disabilities. Also, a large amount of public awareness has been involved. In the past, autism was deemed as a rare disorder. However, now it's seen very common, as in 1 in 100 people have it. And then another way to determine would be the official diagnosis. So to officially be diagnosed with autism, you have to have difficulty in at least 2 of 4 motor behaviors and at least 3 social communication domains. So autism is a very complex and difficult disorder, as you now realize, not only for the one who has it, but for the family and friends of that person. Although this is the case, there are very efficient forms of treatment. Autism cannot be cured. Once someone is deemed autistic, they have autism for the rest of their lives, and that does not mean the person cannot be helped. The main way people with autism are helped is by ABA, or Applied Behavior Analysis. This type of treatment is also often used in schools and clinics. It improves a large range of skills and abilities and has many different types. The first type of ABA is DDT, or Discrete Trial Training. This is easy lessons with the enforcer of the lesson giving loads of positive enforcement to help the ability to improve. Another type of ABA is DIR, or Developmental Individual Relationships. This helps support emotional and intellectual growth and helps people with autism communicate and be one within the society. Autism is very complex, but as you heard, there are many different ways to treat it and help an individual socialize and establish themselves better. So in conclusion, autism is a disorder that affects a countless amount of people in which you probably know. For me, that person is my brother. In the past, there are many different ideas on what causes autism, many of which were debunked. Now researchers have determined that there is no specific cause. Autism comes in many forms. It affects individuals very differently, and the individuals can suffer from communication deficits, social deficits, and repetitive sensory motor behaviors. Nowadays, there are many ways to screen for autism and help treat it. Many of these ways are used in the school system and clinics to help individuals affected socialize within the community.